In this video, we're going to be providing a full tutorial on Google AI Studio. We'll be going over all the features this AI tool has to offer and how to use them. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. To start using Google AI Studio, you will need to be logged into your Google account, then you need to go to aistudio.google.com. Starting with the chat page, this is where we can input questions or requests. On the right, if we click the drop down, we can switch between the different models of Gemini. These are all good for specific tasks. Underneath that, we have the token count. Tokens are essentially the number of words you input into Gemini and the number of words you receive. For example, if I ask, what is the largest country in the world, then press enter, the token count has changed to 10. Then the number increases based on the amount of words Gemini provides in its answer. If we would like to save the current chat we are having with Gemini so we can come back to it in the future, we can simply click the save button at the top, then give the prompt a name and an optional description. To access the saved chats, we simply need to click history at the bottom, then we can see all our saved chats here. Going back to the sidebar, on the chat page, temperature is the number you can set from 1 to 2, which will determine how creative Gemini is allowed to be in its responses. Underneath that, we can enable or disable thinking mode. This allows Gemini to provide deeper, more useful answers. With thinking mode enabled, I'm simply going to type, what is a good way to start a car washing business? As you can see, we have a thoughts box where Gemini is providing its thought process behind the answer it is going to give, then it provides the official answer. This will use up more tokens, that's why you can enable set thinking budget, which allows you to control the number of tokens that Gemini is allowed to use for thinking. At the top, if we click the compare mode button, Gemini will open two different chats. We can set a different language model for each chat so we can compare the output for a specific prompt and see which language model provides a better answer. Moving on, the tab below the chat function is Stream. This allows us to interact with Gemini in a variety of different ways in order to have a conversation with it. As you can see, we have three different options. So Talk allows us to have a full vocal conversation with Gemini. Webcam allows us to interact with Gemini using the camera on our device, where Gemini can see what we show and we can ask questions based on that. Share Screen, as expected, allows us to share our screen with Gemini and we can ask questions about what is shown. The Generative Media tab shows a variety of different tools provided by Google, which we can use to create different types of media. Starting off, Gemini Speech Generation allows you to create high quality speech. On the left, under Raw Structure, this is where you will enter the text that you want to turn into speech. On the right, we can change between single and multi-speaker mode. Multi-speaker mode allows us to have two different voices within the same script. We can see the two different speakers, which are automatically named Speaker 1 and Speaker 2, but we can change the name of these if we like. Then we can change the voice of these speakers by clicking the drop down. We can also preview the voices by clicking the play button next to each one, like so.
Got a project in mind?
What do you want to explore?
Within the script, to let Gemini know which speaker says what, you simply need to put the name of the speaker and a colon before the dialogue. For example, Speaker 1, what's your name? Speaker 2, hi, my name's Gemini, how are you? On the right, it will then display who says what in a nice structure. We can then click run to start generating the script. Once it's done, it will automatically start playing. This is what mine sounds like.
What's your name?
Hi, my name's Gemini. How are you?
As you just heard, Gemini produced a really high quality voice. The tone of the voices changed based on the context. Moving on, the next generative tool we're going to take a look at is Veo, Google's video generator, which allows you to create realistic video clips purely from prompts that you enter. As you can see, in the middle is the main prompt box where we will describe the video we want to generate. Now, when entering a prompt, it's important to include as much detail as possible. For example, I'm going to type a cinematic aerial shot of a serene mountain lake at sunrise with gentle mist hovering over the water. Tall pine trees line the shores, their reflections mirrored on the glassy surface. A flock of birds take flight from the trees, soaring gracefully across a lake as the camera slowly pans overhead. The golden sunlight breaks through the scattered clouds, casting a warm glow over the scene. Before we enter the prompt, we're going to take a look at the settings on the right. We can choose the number of videos that Veo generates from one prompt. This can go up to 2. We can choose between an aspect ratio of 16:9 for a landscape video and 9:16 for portrait. generate. We can choose the video duration from 5 seconds up to 8 seconds. We can also include a negative prompt, which is something you want VO to avoid. For example, I can say no vehicles, and VO will avoid including vehicles in the video that it generates. We're now going to hit run. In the matter of seconds, it has come back with this: an extremely high quality, realistic looking video based on the prompt that we provided. The next tool we're going to take a look at is Imagen, Google's image generator. Just like VO, we have the prompt box in the middle where we will type what we want Imagen to generate. On the right, we can choose how many images we would like from a single prompt. We can pick from 1 to 4 images. Then we can choose the aspect ratio, so I'm going to go for 16:9. I'm now going to type, create a modern kitchen with sunlight streaming through the window, fresh vegetables on the counter, and a cup of coffee steaming. It has now come back with this high quality image of exactly what we asked for. From the shadows to the steam coming from the coffee, the detail on this image is amazing. If we hover over the image, we have a variety of different options. We can like and dislike it to let Gemini know what we think. We can download it and also copy it. Last but not least, for the suite of generative tools, we have Lyria RealTime, which allows you to create continuous audio streams. We can adjust these different controls for the different music genres, and Lyria will combine these different sounds. We can click play to see what it has generated. The next tab is Build. This allows us to create full apps using Gemini. We won't be going too much into this feature today, but if you would like me to create a full video on this, simply type build in the comment section below. That's all we have for this tutorial on Google AI Studio. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.